Hello and welcome back to this third and final part of this special about why I have a beef with John Smith. I think by now you've probably grasped what the major problem is here. But things are going to get a whole hell of a lot worse because now we hit January. We've been to see the police commissioner. The police commissioner has told us any more events vis-a-vis John Smith or any of his associates or any of that lot, it's direct report to the police, no questions asked, nothing. We actually did feel that it would remain reasonably quiet, and we're confident of that. Well, the 10th of January, Ashley sent two emails out, one to Brian Tolver and one to myself, or should I say Councillor Tolver and one to myself, containing the email that had been sent to him by Gary Sullivan. Well, in short, we have not yet seen the published minutes, but I'm hoping that when I read out the shorter version, you've seen straight away what I'm saying is wrong. When we saw the minutes, the version that John Smith had read out was longer than the version in the email that was put in the minutes. Considerably, his was considerably longer and much different. And we couldn't understand that. But what we were confident of is something was very, very wrong. So we began work on that, and I know that Brian, Mike, Barry, myself, Dennis did ask questions to say, I've asked you to say, look, is this the email you sent? Is this honest? Because the email that John Smith read out don't really match this one. It's longer. And Ashley confirmed to us and even allowed us to go to the Wentmasters to confirm that the only email that he had received was that email. Now, we get to the 21st of January and the investigation into this is in very much full swing. When out of the blue one Saturday morning, and just before I got and partake in a Site CS49 protest at the top of Mountain Road, a white envelope drops through the door, addressed to both myself and my father, and I opened it, and I was horror-struck by what I found in it. It was a threatening, blackmailing letter from John Smith. And to be honest with you, the thoughts when I was reading this letter, the thoughts that went through my mind were, this guy's mentally unstable, he's unhinged. And I've kept that letter. And whatever possessed him to send a letter like this, seriously, you've got to be bonkers. He addressed it to myself and to my father, and this is what this complete unhinged idiot wrote. Messrs A and K Bruton. The following paragraph is from an email which Councillor Thompson sent to all Handford parish councillors and yourselves. Well, number one, he didn't send it to my father. Thompson email, 12th October 2016. It was during this altercation that Mr. Bruton noted that he had been verbally and physically abused by Councillor Smith and his associates in the Bull's Head. The previous Saturday, 8th October, while stood at the bar, he has also stated that he had noted this shocking event with an appropriate authority. Well, number one, I never said I'd been verbally and physically abused by Councillor Smith and his associates. I told Smith that it was several of his associates, not him. So he's already lying. You can see the psychosis-induced twist that we're getting here. He's already lying. He's already inventing. He goes on. In a subsequent email, I advised Councillor Thompson that my recollection was that A. Bruton had accused me of verbally assaulting him. Councillor Thompson responded as follows. Thompson email, 18th October 2016. I have consulted with Mr. Bruton as to the veracity of the quoted statements made by Mr. Bruton to me, which he asked that I convey to all councillors. Mr. Bruton stands by his statements. My statements were quite clear. I never accused John Smith of assaulting me verbally or physically. I mean, if he'd physically assaulted me, do you think he'd be around now? No, he wouldn't. He'd have got sorted out. The plank goes on to say, for the sake of clarity, as you can see, Councillor Thompson stated that Mr. Bruton stands by a statement that he had been verbally and physically abused by Councillor Smith and his associates. The Bull said the previous Saturday, 8th October, was stood at the bar. That's not what I said. And it's not what was written in Mike Thompson's email. I said it was several of his associates, not Councillor Smith. I wouldn't bring him in when he was nowhere near it. It's a fact. He goes on, following receipt of Councillor Thompson's email on the 12th of October 2016 detailing Abe Bruton's false allegations, I visited Bull's Head at lunchtime and asked if any CCTV of Saturday 8th October was available. I was made aware that Abe Bruton had visited the pub just before me, asking the same question. As he maintained, somebody had punched him in the back at the bar. No, I hadn't. I'll break this down. Although CCTV covered the bar, there was no evidence of any assault on Abe Bruton. Now, again here, this is total fabrication and twisting of facts, completely taking the truth and throwing it out. One, I had not visited the pub just before him because I was at work. He visited the pub on lunchtime on Wednesday the 12th of October. I visited the pub on Monday the 10th of October before the ding dong the following Tuesday night. Two, I never said I've been punched in the back. My exact words were, and that is a wrong quote from me because I never quoted that, so I've been misquoted. I said, I got a glancing blow in the back, and I told the management what had gone on and where it was. John Smith says, although CCTV covered the bar, which it did not cover all of the bar, so he's lying here. He's now portraying a sick, twisted, dishonest cover-up. There was a little area, and this is sod's law this, a little area where this whole incident happened, where the CCTV did not cover. So whatever went on, that CCTV didn't pick it up. And that's the truth. And that is what Smith neglects to tell everyone. Now this next paragraph shows you how much of a complete idiot he is. If I'd been punched in the back at the bar in the pub, I would have turned around and challenged my attacker and made my displeasure known to the bar staff. Well, you'd have turned around and challenged your attacker, you might have got glassed, you stupid idiot. See how thick and stupid it is? You don't do that. What you do is if that happens, you move away from the trouble and then you have a word with the bar staff. So it would appear that Abe Bruton did not do this. Not at that time on the night. I wanted to get out of there. I wasn't hanging around. It was a packed pub. I didn't want any shit and I needed to collect my thoughts and get things together. I needed to get all my ducks in a row. He goes on, no assault by me or anyone else on Abe Bruton was reported to bar staff on the date alleged above. You're right on that one, because I needed to get all my ducks in a row. There were people I needed to speak to. Then he says, no assault by me or anyone else on Abe Bruton was reported to Bull's Head management on the date alleged above or since. Wrong. Bullshit. It was reported, formally reported, on Monday, the 10th of October 2016, and that was witnessed by Councillor Michael Thompson and my father. And present at that meeting was also the manager of the Bull's Head and the bar manager, and it was booked, so it was reported. And the thing was, I did not need to report an assault by John Smith because, number one, he didn't assault me, and number two, I knew he wouldn't have the guts to do it, let alone the balls. But what was reported were the three individuals, the three women around me. They were reported. He then says, the assault was alleged on the 12th of October 2016 after supposedly taking place on the 8th of October 2016, so he's now lost sight of dates. It was actually the 11th of October when I told him, but there you go. That shows you he's not got both paddles in the water. He don't know what he's doing. He said, which appropriate authority was this alleged event noted with? He says, at least 16 people who were present at the Bull's Head, including at the bar. On the 8th of October 2016, and who I spent time with at different stages during the evening have stated that they are willing to confirm that they neither saw nor heard any assault by myself or anyone else on Abe Bruton taking place on the date alleged. The only reason he's written this, and it's complete fantasy this, the bar was knee deep. There was about 40 odd people there. And a lot of those people, I'm saying, well, my friends were with me. Okay. And I got statements from them saying, look, yeah, this has gone on, this has gone down. Again, he's bringing himself into this. He's inventing. He's saying that I accused him. I didn't at any stage accuse him. I accused 3 of his associates, which was right. He then says, and I don't, the thing is, he's even said he's got around 16 people. It tells me he can't count. That bar was knee deep. I can still see that now. It was knee deep. And there's no way in the world he's gone round everybody in that bar, done that. So again, he's completely lying and he's inventing. That's a sign of psychosis, by the way. He says, these allegations by A. Bruton are untrue. No, they're not. He said, for some reason, A. Bruton, by Councillor Thompson's email, has decided to make outlandish allegations which nobody has witnessed taking place. Not staff, no management, no customers in a very full pub. Via email, Sandford Parish Council, A. Bruton, in concert with Councillor Thompson, have maligned my and others' reputations. No, we haven't, because we've not publicly published this, you lunatic. What I've done is I've brought the behaviour of those that you went in the pub with to your attention. Not your behaviour, because you didn't do anything. All right, let's get this straight. But what you did do is take this and invent it, somehow stick yourself in there as if you were one of the accused when you never were. So all you're doing is going out there and you're just completely lying. That's all he's doing. Okay? He then goes on and says, people I have not spoken to or not seen for some time are questioning me about this malicious line fabrication. Well, how can they when it's not? When at this time it wasn't public. It wasn't public, so again he's lying. In my profession, reputation is extremely important. Yeah, getting kids to pass driving tests, not one of your fortes, is what I'm hearing. The vast majority of my business comes from personal recommendation. Really? Not advertising? Oh yeah, you're not very good at business, are you? But people I've not spoken to or not seen for some time. Oh, hang on a minute. I think I know what he means by that. It's the voices in his head. We've come back. He said the following paragraph is also from Councillor Thompson's email. Thompson email 12th October 2016. Mr. Bruton and his family have subsequently advised me that should any councillor or their associates seek to harm or abuse Mr. Bruton and his family in any way, that immediate action will ensue, including the threat to seek the closure, he can't spell closure, yeah, brackets, sick of the council, in light of these past events and previous threats to break his legs on social media operated by Councillor Burgess. Now, that is a paragraph I actually corrected. But he makes no mention in the letter of the fact that I send out a detailed correction email to everybody. Yeah? And a number of councillors, including, I may add, 2 of his own, actually emailed me back and thanked me for the corrections so they understood it. I greatly appreciated that. He goes on, the statement above from the Bruton family reported by Councillor Thompson attempts to link myself and my associates with threats of grievous bodily harm. No, it doesn't. I and my associates are being warned not to repeat previous threats to break his, Mr. A. Bruton's question mark legs. This is another disgraceful fabricated slur with no basis, in fact, with the apparent aim of damaging mine and others' reputations. No, it's not. I'm reporting what's happened. I still have got the screenshot of the message that I received through Facebook. All right? But what he neglects to say is that a correction email went shortly after that. And it wasn't Mike Thompson's email on the 12th of October. Mike Thompson, his email was the 12th of October, but the correction email was also the 12th of October. He forgets to put that in. No, he doesn't forget to put in. He deliberately omits it because it would undermine everything he's writing. Okay? He finishes off this paragraph with a load of rubbish saying, there can be no other possible reason to include this statement in the accusatory email on 12 October 2016. Well, you're wrong. There is, because it happened. All right? He goes on. In the same email, Councillor Thompson also quoted the Bruton family as looking to bring about the closure of Anfield Parish Council. I would also be very interested to learn which regulatory powers the Bruton family have in relation to closing parish councils. When it's not us, we would go to the appropriate authorities. Or have you not worked that out, you blockhead? And by the way, that's still very much so on the table. So watch your step. Since these baseless accusations have been made by Councillor Thompson on behalf of A. Bruton, I've been made aware that this is not the first time A. Bruton has made at least one unsubstantiated, I'll get my teeth in a minute, accusation of assault in licensed premises in Anfield. What? I've never ever done it. This was the first and only time. And it wasn't unsubstantiated, it was pretty much substantiated. I've also been aware of belligerent rude outbursts made by A. Bruton to people in pubs in Anfield. No, you haven't, because it's never happened. You lying bastard. Now, people now ask me, well, I've got a beef with John Smith and he's telling lies like this and he's writing deceit like this. Yeah? I'll tell you what, a lesser bloke by now would have gone out and kicked his arse. You know, a lesser person would have done that. But this is what we've had to live with. Him walking around and running around telling lies. Telling lies because he's psychosis induced. And now, listen to this. If this is not bullying and blackmailing, you are now faced with two choices. Option 1. Provide a statement via email withdrawing all false accusations of assault on the 8th of October 2016 in the Bullshead pub, which have been made against myself and my associates, while none were made against yourself, so you can kiss my ass on that one. So provide a statement via email that I and my associates have not been involved in threats of extreme violence. There's previous threats to break legs. No, because it happened. Option 2, do nothing and allow these lies to remain in the public domain. Well, at this time, they were not in the public domain unless you put them there, blockhead. He said, should you decide to take option 1, a response is expected before the end of January 2017. Should you decide to take option 2, I and my associates will make sure as many residents of Anfield as possible, and by any legal means available, will be made aware of the false accusations which you made. A report detailing the untrue allegations will be submitted to the SRA. So now you're trying to undermine my career. You're not satisfied with just telling lies about me and inventing stuff that I've not done. You're now going to undermine my career. See what I mean? This is an absolute blackmail letter. And just so people understand, by law, you can't write letters like this. Okay? I don't think, no, I will read it. He said, in order to ensure that any other Bruton family resident in Hanforth is not associated with these false allegations, it is only right that your family will be clearly identified to ensure there is no confusion as to who's responsible for these allegations. So he's now threatening my family. You do not threaten a bloke's family. Do you not? There's a line you don't cross. And threatening a bloke's family is one of those lines. Yeah? I think, despite this letter so far, the fact I haven't gone and kicked his arse is amazing. Yeah? But he owes me. He owes me, and I want what he owes me. Yeah? He goes, it is clear that these allegations made via Councillor Thompson's emails have been with your full knowledge, yeah? Because, Mike asked me to. He was my ward councillor at the time. He was there for me and was also a friend. There has been no attempt by yourselves to deny responsibility for these allegations in any way. Well, why should we when they're true? In fact, after Councillor Thompson rechecked, A. Bruton has advised Councillor Thompson that he stands by the allegation he has made. Yeah, repetition, but yeah, because they're true. Not your invented ones, but the fact that 3 of your associates did misbehave badly vis-a-vis myself in the Bull's Head on the 8th of October 2016. Fact. He said, reference to the Bruton family has been made in response to the allegations made by Councillor Thompson on the Bruton family behalf. You've got no right to make references to my family on my behalf. You've got no right to do anything. What you will do is, when it comes to my family, is shut your stinking trap. Get it? A number of individuals about whom the Bruton family have made untrue allegations, right, who, because we haven't, are DBS checked for professional reasons. Really? Okay, we've not made any at this time, and even till now, any untrue allegations against anyone. Certainly not anyone who's DBS checked for professional reasons. So should any future DBS checks be compromised by these baseless allegations, there may be serious legal implications. What are you going to do? Come and glare at me and tell more lies? Coward. Should, he finishes off, should following receipt of this letter, any further false allegations or threats of a verbal or otherwise nature be made towards myself or other members of our group, Cheshire Police will be advised immediately. Well done, blockhead. This went straight to Cheshire Police and they agreed it was blackmailing. Well done. See what I mean? So that comes. So again, that's going to go to the police. The police suddenly go, this is serious. This really is this bad. At this same time, as I say, they really helped us, did Rent-A-Mob. They published a video of John Smith reading that email out in council on the 2nd of November. And we've got that email and we will be making that email public. Okay? We will also be making the 2 emails public so you can see how different they really are and what we suddenly discovered. And I remember it because the day that Brian and I got the email from Ashley was the same day the minutes were published. And I was at the Wirral and I'd been to see a client and I was sitting having a coffee because I'd also driven my mum and dad up there that day because they went for a walk. And I was waiting for them and to have some lunch. And I looked at the email and I looked at the minutes. I thought, it doesn't match. So we had the beginning of what was called the long version, short version fiasco or saga. During, and I will say this, during the remainder of January and February, we worked really hard. Now, when I say we, it was myself, Mike, Barry, Dennis, Ian, and Brian, and my father, and a number of others. My mum and my partner on a point of order to be presented in council in March of 2017. This was absolutely essential because we could now prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that something was very wrong with that email and that Councillor Smith had read an email out in council that he quite clearly had altered. There was, during this time, a series of emails back and forth, from Brian Talbot to Kerry Sullivan asking, saying to Kerry, look, we've noted this, what's going on? Bang, this gets stopped when John Smith comes in with an email telling Kerry, you've told everybody everything they need to know, we do not need to tell them anything more, we should say no more. Right. So we get to the point of order, which was the HBC meeting of March 2017. Did we tell any of those 4 about it? You bet your life we didn't. We had it, we had everything. I've read those 2 emails out, and it was quite clear to all of us. We actually had got something which satisfies the definition of forgery. There was quite clearly an instrument here, which was the email that John Smith had read out, that was elongated and changed. I mean, he's fabricated in that long version email. Kerry Sullivan had been threatened by stuff that was going on in the High Court. Well, that never came from us. If she got herself into some kind of trouble elsewhere, then that's her problem. Nothing to do with us. We did not threaten anybody with the High Court, at least not Kerry Sullivan. Yeah, she got reported to the monitoring officer because we found that she was voting with prejudicial interest. Somehow Cheshire East, despite the fact she didn't respond and all the evidence found in her favour, but that went to the LGO and the LGO overturned it, so my complaint was upheld. Still, with getting that notification, sadly Kerry chose to do nothing. With this all bubbling on, we got to the March meeting, and we've also got the video of this one, by the way, and yes, we're going to publicly publish it. There's roughly, it takes 26 minutes, that little extra. And Brian tries to start reading, but he's probably heard Brian's voice, it's not the strongest, it's not like mine. So he asks Ashley to read it, and as you'll see in the video, John Smith yells and screams at Brian, saying quite categorically he did not change that email, and that email was no different from the one that Kerry Sullivan sent. Well, it was, and yet again, the little boy's bullshitting. He's bullshitting, well and truly bullshitting, because it had been altered, it had been changed. Now, what you will see here, I mean, Kerry Sullivan tries to show Ian Clark, Ashley, and Cynthia Samson the email she sent, but they're all fingers and thumbs on the phone. I do not believe for 1 minute that Kerry's actually showing them the email that's actually sent. And she couldn't have done, because as this fiasco is going on, Cynthia Samson stops Brian, and Brian simply asks, and you'll hear him on the video, Chair, why may I not continue with my point of order? And Cynthia Samson turns to Brian and says, you know why? And Brian says, no, I don't. And then she says, with a witch's smile, because you tell lies. Great behaviour, Chair. Just what we want to say in the council. Brilliant behaviour. Take a bow. Oh, wonderful behaviour. Not. It's appalling behaviour and a very serious breach of the code of conduct. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You had to go at us with behaviour like that. We never told anybody we were a liar. And then what happened? When Ashley was being asked, A, was he present at the meeting? They all jumped in. They wouldn't let him answer. Eventually, Ashley got out and he said, I was there when the meeting started, but I left the office, so no, I was not in the meeting. So Ashley wasn't there, so we know they've lied. We know Kerry's lied. We know John Smith's lying. Ashley was not present in that meeting with the police, in the parish offices. They look when it's put to them that this therefore is a parish council matter because you had the meeting with the police, the parish offices. They look at each other, and you're thinking, well, who the hell's got the brain cell of the outfit? Well, no one, because they ain't got a brain cell, no less a brain. They haven't. They've been found out again. And here's a slam dunk. When we're talking about the two emails, Brian lets on, brilliantly I may add, that Ashley had forwarded to him the email that he had got. And Ashley can be heard in the video saying, yes, I gave him the only email I had got. And that was the short version. You want to look at the three Wallies, the three S's, Smith, Sanson and Sullivan, looking at each other in blind panic. I felt really sorry for Kenny Burgess sitting here and Mike Thompson sitting here, not being able to get a word in edgewise and having to sit through this with John Smith screaming and yelling like a child. So, Brian again attempts to restart his point of order. Cynthia's desperate. She's desperate to move on because she knows, look, we all know she brought John Smith in as her new henchman. She's the Muppet Master, he's the Muppet. And he's cocked it up. He's ballsed it up big time. He's been found out. He's brought a malicious accusation to the police line with Kerry Sullivan. He's assaulted a parishioner and has now tried to turn the tables. That parishioner has brought to his attention that 3 of his associates verbally and physically assaulted him in the pub, and he then invents a crime saying that parishioner has included him, when that parishioner, me, didn't. What else has he done? We also know he asked the police to stop me coming to parish council meetings because you know what? At this same time, in March, we got confirmation that that was the case. Nice. Real nice. Not cowardly. Cowardly, dirty, dishonest, underhand, you name it, it's that. It's anything but nice. And what do we get? On top of that, he reads out an email. He's clearly changed. He's altered it. Does he not realise that counts for all intents and purposes regards fraud as a forgery? Because he used that as a false instrument to deceive people, to cover the truth up. That's what he did. And he did that in his position as a councillor. That to me is not just misconduct in public office. That's abuse of a very, very special position. That to me is extremely serious. So he gets to the point of order. Brian tries to start again and Cynthia Sanderson won't let him. And she loses her cool. And Brian asks again, why can we not continue with my point of order? And Cynthia Sanderson turns to Brian because, as I've already said, you are limited with the truth, pause, as well as other disabilities. I beg your pardon, Chair. For those of you who don't know, at that time, Brian was registered as disabled and everybody knew it. And it was declared to the council and every member of that council knew it. And she said that. Now, she's not just breached the code of conduct, she's just committed a hate crime against the councillor. On video in public. And you know what? Rent Mob are that clever. And this is the lot sitting on the council at a minute. They're that bright. They published a video with it on. I don't know about you. But that is plain bizarre. So we don't get the chance to finish off the point of order. About a week or so after that, there was a meeting at my house with the police. And much to my absolute horror, I'll tell you that, my dad's there, I'm there, there's Councillor Michael Thompson and Councillor Brian Tolver, and much to my horror, they bring PCSO Harding, despite the fact that they were told he can't attend. So there's all hell let loose, and I'm covering up documents, so he can't see them. Yet we get rid of him, and he is told to go sit in the car. Good. That's exactly where he belonged. What a very good meeting. The police officer, and I want to go on record to say I want to thank PC Waldsworth for all his hard work. I found him ever so professional, ever so approachable, and very hard working, very kind and very friendly. And I still, again, appreciate all the hard work that he did for us. It was a tremendously difficult time for us all. And for in a nutshell, yes, it was that bad. So we discussed all the evidence regards to the offences committed. Okay. And we come to the conclusion that there was a problem, and it was agreed that we were going to get a full review of the file, full breakdown, and that again, if this lot did anything in the meantime, we were to tell the police. And the police also told the mob, especially Smith, shut your mouth or else. Well, you'd have thought the warning would have got in. If I'd have been told that, I'd have shut my mouth out. I would have said, oh, I'd have stayed quiet. But not John Smith. No, not this psychotic idiot. Come the April meeting, he's got to start flapping his gums and telling more lies about me. And he comes out with a point of order. It's fine and dandy. Look, he's allowed to have a point of order. We're not. Talk about double standards, Cynthia Sampson. Terrible. Hang your head in shame. Hang your head in shame. So he starts waffling. Now, I've got a copy of his statement. Okay. And I'm not going to read all of it through. Because again, we've got a video of him delivering this, but I'm going to tell you there are lies, inherent lies and inventions in this. But I think the best is he realises, because he's then seen Brian's point of order. And he says, I found myself going through line by line, spending too much time. He says, finding lies and inconsistencies all constructed on the, and I use the word loosely, facts as gleefully brought to everybody's attention by Councillor Tolliver. Well, if they are facts brought to everybody's attention by Councillor Tolliver, those facts are based on something. They're based on what is there, on the short version, long version. There's no lies there. The fact he says they are lies, again, you can't do that. They're not lies. That to me is a hopeless case defence. That to me is the ramblings of a desperate man who knows he's been caught. He goes on, I'm making a statement, I usually increase the font size to enable an accuracy. No, it says, no. Tell the truth, John, it's so you can read it. Yeah. I can't find a copy of any original documentation which shows I did this, so perhaps I read out from the original email with smaller print. Really, so you can't find the documentation, so that tells me it never existed. He said, I don't know, and I don't offer this as an excuse in any way, just an attempt to understand why I didn't correctly read the 2 lines of that email. It wasn't 2 lines. It wasn't 2 lines. There's a full paragraph being put in. A full paragraph and various other additions and omissions. He said, I do need to offer an apology to Councillor Sullivan for not reading her email correctly in paragraph 2. No. What about the added paragraph 4? And all that garbage that doesn't appear in the actual version? Aren't you going to apologise for that? He said, I viewed the video recording of my reading of her email. For some reason, I've not read the first 2 lines of this paragraph. Well, no. He's just addressing the wrong thing. The fact of the matter is, he read that email out. And for starters, that email said, Dear Ashley, and the one that Kerry Sullivan sent didn't. As I'll prove a little later. He goes on and he just runs through saying, you know, that Brian had lied and lied and lied. Yeah. Now he lies again here, because Ashley's already confirmed to us that he wasn't in the office when the meeting took place. But Smith says he was in the office and sat at his desk, but was not party to the meeting. No, he didn't. Ashley gave us a statement saying he took a phone call and took work out of the office so you can have that meeting. You lied again. You used and abused your position as a counsellor, and you lied again. Yeah. He lies about me saying I threatened Councillor Sullivan on the 11th of October. No, I didn't. But what he does say is, on the 11th of October himself, he emails the clerk requesting advice. What, at 9:30 at night when the clerk's gone home? Yeah. Ashley comes back the 12th of October advising him to contact the police. The thing was, we asked for that email, and strangely, Ashley deleted it. It's gone. Even the police asked for that, and it couldn't turn up for some reason. It just vanished. I wonder why it vanished. Yeah. Now, he again says that I accused him, and the rest of the party he was with, of verbal and physical abuse. It was 3. Not the 8 that I saw you come here, not you. So again, look, now he's extended it even further to corroborate and build on his lies. He says, I'm a fantasist. He needs to go and look in a mirror. He's not just a fantasist. He's a psychotic idiot. He ain't got both paddles in the water. So he goes on. He goes on with his statement. Now, we're going to publish this diatribe, because I tell you what, there was only ever one copy of this diatribe, or diarrhea tribe, as it's now been called, and I've got it. Lock, stock and 2 smoking barrels. Because, you see, the thing is, he didn't get the chance to completely read it. Did he, Cynthia? You stopped him. I wonder why you stopped him. But what I will say is this. He accused me of making up an assault claim, in the Freemasons pub. No, I didn't. And I can say the previous landlord and landlady were not very happy with you, son. They were not very happy with you at all. I did witness an incident. And yeah, I gave a statement of what I saw. And as usual, I was straight, honest, open, transparent, true, trusty. Something I think you need to learn, and very quickly. He again claims no assault took place in the Bull's Head, reiterating his rubbish. I hadn't reported it. I had. Sorry. But I had. You're pathetic. You're pathetic, like a stuck record. You're a child. So, he starts going through. Okay, he starts going through. And he suddenly gets stopped. Cynthia Sampson stops him and tells him he can't go any further. And he can't go any further when it gets to something about the War Memorial and the crew responsible for that. So I'm going to read from there as my closing shot. He says, War Memorial. Now, this has never before been heard in public. Going to be now. The day before the first meeting of the current council, an email was received from a member of the public who wished to remain anonymous. This email threatened HBC with High Court action if the chair, Councillor Burgess, and myself took part in the vote toward a donation to the Hanforth Community War Memorial Foundation. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It made clear there was 4 of you that was known that you were going to vote with a prejudicial interest. The anonymous writer stated that should we vote the way they should not vote the way they wanted, after the meeting they would be waiting with a white envelope in their hand to give the paperwork to the parish clerk. No, they didn't. This was not an anonymous writer. This was actually a solicitor. And that night, yes, I was the only person walking around the hall holding a white envelope. I will agree on that, I'll admit it. But I was doing that because I was a process server. I was not the anonymous writer. I was the process server. I was being paid to be there that night. And you know what? Because I used my common sense, my honesty, my integrity, my accountability. I stopped your ass getting sued and prosecuted. Maybe I was wrong to do that. Maybe I should have let those people who wanted to go ahead with that and do it. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. He goes on. Next heading, financial irregularities. He said, recently, Councillor Tolver presented a dozen or so items which he felt were evidence of incorrect financial management, which would be the responsibility of myself as chair of the Finance Committee. These were produced by a member of the public. Yeah, and he knew which one it was because he'd seen me doing it. As many will be aware, once these errors in financial management were brought to light, Councillor Thompson was in favour of instructing the Specialist Parish Council auditor to recheck their incorrect audit. For those not aware, the auditor found no fault with any of the items raised by the member of the public. Wrong. They did. But you never read out the email. You didn't tell the truth. You said you'd been exonerated, and you hadn't. The fact of the matter is, they were going to investigate it, and you knew it, and you jumped the gun. And I also know that Ashley did not do as was told. He was told to write to the external auditor, not the internal auditor, and he wrote to the internal auditor. Why? Who persuaded him to go against a decision, a requisition of council, a resolution of council? Who? I wonder who. Could it be you, John? Cynthia? Just asking questions, not casting aspersions, just asking. A comment was made on one item which referred to the purchase of a banner to identify the premises where HBC-backed CPR instruction will be taking place. Yeah, the one thing that you said we didn't need to buy was minuted back, when was it, November 2015, yet your wife went and bought a banner. Well, you said we didn't need it. So she went and bought a banner. You can't, it may only be 18 quid, but you can't do it. It's the act that we look at, not the amount. The amount comes second, but it's the act. He stated that members of the public should not order goods on behalf of the council. Right. What he wasn't aware of was that member of the public created the design online on the supplier's website. Yeah, but they still shouldn't have billed the council, idiot. I then ordered and paid for the banner with my own bank card and subsequently reclaimed the cost through the normal procedure of petty cash from the parish council. Liar! Liar, liar, liar. You didn't. I saw the receipt. Ashley's given me a copy of that to go with the investigations. You didn't. You didn't reclaim it, and it was ordered straight through the parish council's money. You took it out of the ratepayer's pocket. You didn't reclaim it. And if you did reclaim it, the paperwork on the accounts file was wrong and therefore illegal and should never have passed an audit. So make your mind up on that one. Either way, you're a liar. You've lied again. An extra cost to HVC was incurred for the pointless re-audit. No, it wasn't an extra cost, and it sure as hell wasn't pointless. He said, which vindicated me. No, it didn't. It didn't vindicate you. It didn't exonerate you. It nothinged you. Yeah? He goes on. He repeats the false allegations, which weren't false allegations. I told him 3 of your associates assaulted me, so be careful. And he finishes off with the parish clerk recruitment. All I'm going to say briefly there, because we're getting a bit on now, is quite simply, we will be putting a special together on this itself to show how he again lied and abused his position, but not in this batch of episodes. But it will come soon. What I'm saying here is many people don't know this, but when we interviewed for a new parish clerk, John Smith chaired that. Kerry Burgess was on that committee, so was Kerry Sullivan. Cynthia Sampson was back off the employment committee. John Smith was substituted, but it wasn't done properly. That should have gone through full council, and it didn't. They interviewed one of their best friends for that role and voted on it. And that person they interviewed was Janet Taylor. And Brian Tolver, Mike Thompson, and Ian Clark, Barry Berkeley and Dennis Mann fought like heroes to stop Janet Taylor being appointed. Even when Cheshire East actually wrote to them, and the chair of audit and government said, you can't do it, they went ahead with it. So now you can see why I've got a beef with John Smith. And after that statement he read in April 2017, Senator Driscoll went and knocked on his door and said, you better shut your mouth, son, I'm going to be feeling your collar. So there you go. I had to get this off my chest. I know it's going to shock you, but I hope you've appreciated it, enjoyed it. I won't keep you any longer. Thanks. Take care and stay safe.